joined in the media center by current number one qualifier in funny car, Bob Tasca, 4.103 seconds at 304.39 miles an hour. Bob, talk about the conditions out there today and kind of the East Coast opener. You're an East Coast guy and get these two great runs out here today.
I don't know what it is about Gainesville, just love racing here. This place has been awfully good to me over the years. We set a record in my alcohol car. We were on the pole that year. Won and got my first win here, so it's just a special place for me to race at. Track's a little tricky out there. Obviously, we all thought there was more out there in the first round. A lot of tire smoke. Second round, the groove I think was real narrow. There's some bumps, way down track that can get the car upset. We actually put a hole out coming up on the finish line. Car got a lot of shape, but no, it felt good through the middle. And I knew if it could feel like that through the middle, it was going to put up a pretty good run. And that's what the guys wanted to run. Chris said, I said, what do you think it'll run? He said, it should run a 10. And that's what it did. So we're happy with the run. Obviously, it gives us a little bit of leeway tomorrow to go out and take some swings at it. And the first session will be warmer than what we've seen in these last two. And then the last session should be a little bit better.
Is familiarity with this track your greatest asset when it comes to racing here?
Everyone says that, but the truth is when you're sitting in the car looking down the strip, they all look the same. But just knowing you're in Gainesville and the historic nature of this race, it's certainly what it's meant to my family over the years. My grandfather raced here. I made my first pass in alcohol funny car in Frank Holy's school here. So it's just a lot of history for me personally in Gainesville, and just love racing here.
I'm talking in terms of your logbook and everything.
Well, the logbook, the truth be told, the tune-ups have changed so much. Like what we ran a year ago versus what we're running now is completely different. Couldn't even look at a logbook. These cars evolve. I don't think they're even close to the same from the start of the season to the end of the season. You're really looking at what you did last race and what worked and what didn't work. So the logbook, truthfully, from last year's, we threw that out the window, and we're working with something totally different.
If the logbook's not the factor, then what is it here?
I don't know, a little bit of magic. I think the racing gods, for whatever reason, smile on me here in Gainesville. Got my son Austin with me. It's his birthday this weekend. I wrestled him away from his mother to take him out of school for a couple of days. But I don't know, maybe you're my good luck charm, Austin.
You said the groove is really narrow. I mean, can 1 inch make a difference?
Well, I don't think 1 inch can make a difference, but certainly 12 inches can make a difference. When you have a groove where there is some bumps out there, we can see it on the drive shaft, some significant bumps. So if the car isn't happy coming up on those bumps, you got a much better chance of getting through it if you're right in the middle and the car's stable and it's not moving around, shifting left to right. When the car gets out of the groove, then you're fighting it back as a driver. And when you're doing that, coming up on some of these bumps that we've seen out there, you can easily smoke the tires. So it definitely keeping in the groove is going to be pretty important this weekend.
So that's why we've seen so many tire smokes down at the end of the track.
Oh, absolutely. There's a big bump, not a little bump. There's a big bump. There's some tracks you can just about have it into the wall and it'll just go right down there. And then there's other tracks where it's much more sensitive, and I don't know if it's just showing its head more over the course of time, but we can see it on our drive shaft. It's not happy coming up on the finish line.
Being that you did change your tune-up during the season last year, what does the clean slate of another new season do for you?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Just look at where we are this year versus last year. Semifinals in Pomona, made a great run against John. John just made a lights-out run in Phoenix against us. Sitting number one right now on Friday. The confidence level's high. We believe in our setup. We've had the whole off season to really kind of dial it in. We really didn't get going until Vegas last year, and it took us 3 or 4 races, to even know where we were. We were testing as we were racing, and then we had a real good run through the summer, and we just bobbled the ball coming up on Indy last year. But to have a setup that we're used to now, tested with all winter, this race car is a contender, and that's our whole focus for this year is to put this thing in the top 10 and go run for a championship.